Alright, I'm going to create a watch list from scratch using StocksToTrade alongside Etradepro. First off, I have my watch list that I created, trade from yesterday. I always exit this out every morning. Go to Tools, open a fresh watch list. Click this little button, go to Columns, Fundamentals I take off. Just like that. How I like it. Then on StocksToTrade, I'll use the top percent gainer scanner, organized by percent change. I'll just start clicking them up. What I will say is my approach to creating a watch list is very simple, probably the way most people do it. Just use top percent gainers for the most part, because you want to see what's moving in the morning, pre-market. You want to see why they have news, whatever the reason, they're moving pre-market and they're worth pulling up and analyzing. I also have a new highs scanner, which I use frequently throughout the day and the morning. I have a watch list that is composed of any ticker that moves that makes a run. I'll stick it on this list, and on this list I try to primarily keep it reverse splits. So tickers that perform a reverse split seem to become quite volatile, so I keep them on their own special list. I like to watch names that will have news like this. Announces new software targeting packet classification applications. Who knows what that means or if it's good or bad? I have no idea, but it's a recent reverse split and hasn't really made a run yet. I always keep an eye out for these things, even if they don't show any indication pre-market that people are going to trade it. I'll keep an eye on it anyways. Alright, so essentially I'll pull them all up on my StocksToTrade tabs, prices, tickers. I'll just start looking at them, start trying to feel them out. Always look at the multi-year, as far back as you can. Just want to take a look. PRM, obviously a former runner, 3.3 mil float. Something I like to do, I like to click on the profile tab on StocksToTrade. I'll just take a look, what industry it's in, shipping. Even take a look at the Twitter feed, because I don't see news. I'm kind of confused why this is up, so I always if I don't really understand why something's up. Let's take a look, see what people are saying. I'm not actually sure why this one's up, but Gapper, that's good enough for me to watch. So what I'll do is put my trade under my stocks to trade. I'll just start plugging in name. Now it seems like a lot. Like how do I focus when I'm watching so many names? But you'll see that create a watch list, it doesn't mean you have to watch them all. It just means it's just like a pool of names that you can have on your watch list. You can organize it by percent change from open. See what's moving throughout the day. But by no means, I'm not focusing on all of these. Open, I try to select a handful, maybe 3 or 4 that I'm primarily focused on. But it's good to have a lot of variety to watch throughout the day, and just never know what's going to pop. You never know what's going to. So I just try to be prepared. So preparation is everything. Trading, as you probably hear all the time. Okay, so now I try to. So like Mosey, okay, there's no volume here, but it did have news, so I stuck it on the watch list. But now, exit it. I don't really care about it. But I have it on the watch list just in case. Okay. So CTRM. I will keep this one up because former runner, and I just find it interesting how it popped from 190 to 240. Yeah, so I'll keep that one up. ERRX. Excuse me. DRRX. So pre-market gapper, right? 186 mil float. Long-term chart. Okay, so I'll tell you straight off the bat, this isn't really my style. I don't really like playing floats this large, and I really hate swing trading. This is more of a swing trade type ticker. Make a play on it. You should be holding it for multiple days because that's just how it sets up. And I don't like that, so I'm gonna exit it. Even though I have it on my watch list on E-Trade, probably not gonna pay attention to it all day. So there's nothing wrong with putting a ticker on your watch list that you have no intention of watching, because there's an opportunity to potentially learn from it. And the potential to learn just as good as the potential to make money, in my opinion. So don't be afraid to stick things on your watch list that you do not like. That's okay. Alright, so MREO. They announced additional positive data from phase 2B. Okay. The biotech, it is 19 mil float. So I like this, made a run 120 to 230 day and had a day 2. recently kind of starting a new uptrend. Um, I don't. Oh, do I like it? I'm not really sure. Very choppy ticker, and it doesn't really trade with good volume all the time. It's not something that I'm going to be focusing on, so I'm going to exit it. But again, I have it on my E-Trade watch list. BIOC. Some news, I don't know what it means. 22 mil float. Awful ticker. It's awful. It's made some really awesome runs in the past. I don't really like the way it's moving recently. It's these very small moves and a lot of traps, and I don't like it that much. EGFV was on, pulled it up on StocksToTrade because it was an after hours mover. Plus 13% after guidance for quarter profits. Not gonna lie, I don't really understand guidance. I never really understood it. But okay, so 20 mil float, it's in specialty retail. I don't really love that sector. Just, I don't like it. I see tickers that are in that sector and they're hard to play. I don't know, maybe not, maybe not. Side. So, if this was biotech, I'd be loving it. Specialty retail, I just don't know. Looking at the history, it does not have a history of big spikes in like one day. Like one example of it in how many years? Like there's just not. Uh, History says that this thing's not going to do much today. I mean, if you just, yeah, I'm gonna exit it. So ADAP was that big runner from yesterday. I missed this. I didn't really understand that I should be watching it, but you can see 136 gapped up to 2, holding that $2 really well. Or the 190s really well, and tell you what, I have trouble buying tickers that form this, where it's like after the bell, there's 1 minute of some really scary volatility, and holds, and then it just starts running and just keeps going. I have the hardest time playing this setup because I just feel like there's not a setup there. There obviously was, because it. Interesting. You know, another thing I will say is I don't like to just get to the point with a watch list. Like I like to pull up things, look at them, think about them, ask questions about them. I'll replay things in my brain and say, how could I have played this? It doesn't matter what day. I don't care. I always just try to pick something up and to learn something. Not in a rush to make my watch list. I don't trade pre-market. Maybe one day I will. For now, I don't trade pre-market. It's not something I can handle right now. I think I need more experience because I lose my composure really easily pre-market trading. Just try to focus on the learning aspect. So in this case, how this 194 and it started to surge up and it broke the trend. Now, you're talking about trends pre-market. A little iffy because there's not much volume here making this trend. How can you be comfortable buying it? And like, who's to say it's just going to come right back down? I don't know. But I'm trying to think about these things because these are the plays that I'm going to have to get good at because look at the volume. Right? These are the plays that the pros play. Right? Look at this volume. You can make so much money because you can size in basically as many shares as you want to buy, you can buy. So liquid, such a good move, and quite frankly, this was incredible. These are the plays that you can get rich off of. They also happen to be some of the hardest. And comes hand in hand, right? It's like the more good traders that are in something, the harder it is to feel comfortable, the harder it is to predict it. That's my take on it. Or maybe I just need more experience and eventually it'll feel easy to predict. I don't know. I'm gonna exit this because I just don't play things that are this overextended. I just like to look at them, like to learn from them. I'm not gonna watch that. Again, every ticker that I'm exiting, I'm keeping on my E-Trade watch list the entire day. TRXC, FDA news, medical devices. So I probably similar to biotech. I don't know, maybe not. But the recent split. So this is a really good example. I love how StocksToTrade doesn't adjust the chart to the split. I absolutely love that. So when you open up the multi-year, you immediately know this is a split. Like if something goes from 21 cents to $1.80, just assume it's a split. Yeah, so this is the first major news off that split, and it creates some major upside. Now, this is potentially why I should get up earlier and trade pre-market. There are reasons why I don't do that, because I feel like I'm better off waking up at 8 and just creating my watch list and just having like a solid, mentally composed day. But I've debated with myself because if I would have woken up at 6:50 to try to catch the 7 a.m. news or whatever, it's like I could have looked at this. I could have seen, okay, TRXC is a recent reverse split. FDA news, you know, I could have been like, well, it's holding. Maybe I could have played this 180 entry. And, you know, I would have nailed a trade pre-market and got myself really green on the day. But I tell you what, pre-market is very difficult. And when you're wrong, when you make a wrong move pre-market, you can get burned. So it, you know, there's gains to be made, but there's a lot to be lost too. So it is what it is. I'm gonna leave this one up because, well, too bullish to exit really, and it kind of is the type of setup I like. So definitely gonna leave that up. RTIX 70 mil float, medical device. They sold something, sells OEM business to, I don't know what that. That's interesting. Like the biggest move it's ever had. It's history. It's massive move for this name. Again, I mean, it's just not my style. I'll leave it up. I mean, sorry, I'll exit it, but I'll leave it on trade. MX guidance after hours. Interesting long-term chart. Could pull off a multi-year breakout. S16, I suppose. 33 mil float, semiconductor. Exit, don't care. CCL, after hours news, 180-day extension to try to get to the minimum NASDAQ bid requirement, so it needs to be over $1. Got a 180-day extension. The reason why that causes upside is because some shorts probably get scared. They expect it to get delisted, they get an extension, causes people to get nervous, they cover their position, the price goes up. So I'll leave CCCL up, I guess. NCTY, tried to play this a few times yesterday, made a little bit of money on it. Gotta leave NCTY up. This chart, this when this thing gets hot, it can make some crazy moves. So definitely watching it today. This thing loves to set up for swing trades, so I might swing trade it today if it has proper development. Definitely keep this up. So CCCL, NCTY, Craig, they're all China tickers, kind of move together. Craig is interesting. Definitely been holding in this 20 cent to 30, 40 cent range, consolidating, and who's to say if it'll ever get hot again, but 2017 this thing went from 1 to 960 in 2 days. So when it gets hot, it can go, but this thing's choppier. It's pretty hard to play. I'm not interested in watching it. I'll just exit it, but keep it on my radar throughout the day. Acre, bit of a shit ticker. Had a gap down off the split on an offering, I believe. So it's got shit financing. But even if something has toxic financing, if it's making higher lows and like kind of breaking out of this gap down spot, it's got this horizontal at 350. I mean, it's holding over 350, right? And gap to fill is 550. Doesn't matter, like, to me, it doesn't matter if it has toxic financing or things that make something not a long. You shouldn't stick around too long in these things because of that, because they do offerings, because they have crap financing. But I still believe that you can still nail a play on it. It's just you have to be really precise. You have to be careful with these things. Oh, obviously I like how it had a little uptrend and then it held all the way into close. I like that. So that's why Acre is going to be on my watch list. Keeping it up, however, I'm going to exit it. See, for the morning, when it comes to tickers that I keep up on my StocksToTrade tab, I try to make it tickers that like I like the most, that I want to focus on the most. So I'm very selective. LJPC, I misplayed this on day one. On day one, made a video recap on it before. Yeah, I was buying it down here, and I just I didn't realize that it was a swing play. I didn't realize that the setup was going to take multiple days. If I zoom out, you get a better idea of how powerful this breakout, or not really a breakout, it's more of a bounce, was. 840, started at 4. Pretty cool. Big move. I think that's my biggest weakness, is I'm not good at recognizing what is setting up for a swing trade and what to day trade. Like, this is something I still struggle with to this day. But regardless, I don't like swing trading biotech because all it takes is for them to put out a failed study or some negative PR, and I've seen these things gap down 80%. That's not really something I want to keep my capital in overnight. Like, I want to be able to sleep at night. So it is what it is. Bit overextended for my liking, so not even gonna watch it. IRIX had some news after hours. Nice revenue numbers, I guess. 12 mil float. Medical devices. Okay, this one doesn't really have a history of making big runs, but I guess right here it went from 280 to 410. Note that it didn't hold gains at all. So if you do play this, probably gonna be a scalp. See, it closed at 235, and the bid this morning is on 250. However, there's no prints, so people aren't watching this most likely, but I'm going to watch it because I like the news. It is kind of a former runner in a pumpy way, and it is a gapper. It's just a gapper that nobody's aware of, or very few people are aware of, but I'm gonna keep this up. It's kind of my style to play things that nobody else sees. Or maybe they do see it and they're just like, yeah, it has no volume, that's shit. And that's probably true. But I like things that are crappy, I guess. TCAT is interesting. It's not necessarily a big former runner, but I love this chart. I love this wash. These are the types of charts that when they do find their trend change, or the reversal, or the bounce, whatever you want to call it, they can just do crazy things that are very unexpected. So I don't know. I mean, it's been trying. Been trying lately. Not something I'm gonna watch in the morning, but I kept that ticker up from last night just so I would add it to my E-Trade watch list. But I'm gonna exit it. All right, AEMD. So this was another recent split. Washed. I think this gap down was financing. I mean, I could look back. Sure, I'll look back. Okay. Yeah, so they did a 5 million offering. But once again, it's got, this one I kind of dropped the ball on yesterday, not gonna lie. It had a nice setup, so look, this is a nice setup. It's an ascending triangle on the multi-day, which is, that's strong. If something's making a clean multi-day pattern, that thing can make some moves when it breaks out. So it little stair step into a gap to fill. Had some nice confirmation entries in the 140s and peaked at 199 or 2. So a good play there. I just dropped the ball on it. I saw it too late in the morning, didn't feel comfortable in this choppy zone, and made a little bit of money off it, but definitely didn't capitalize on it. This is a gap down, no news. I just don't really think it's going to do anything today, so I'm going to exit it. And but this thing's been very interesting for the last month. I mean, really, lots of volatility to make money off of. Mbot, not something I even care about for the morning, but I like to watch it for afternoon entries. So Peck, tell you why I'm gonna watch Peck today. Obviously, a former runner had this day, which I missed this day. Went from 240 to 540. Had news after hours, and then it took off in the morning. I missed that, but had some news 2 days ago or 3 days ago. 260, 360. Basically, I like this pop up. Forms a little wedge, broke out of the wedge, holding. So I'm thinking it could make another spike and try to like go to 450. That's my thought process behind it. It's a little 5 mil float conglomerate that when it pumps, it can pump pretty hard. And I like yesterday, I'll tell you why. Take a look at this. So we got this little up in the morning. We have this range, this channel, downtrending channel. So today, if it breaks out of the channel, sometime today, I think that's when volume could potentially come in and we could see a nice spike. So I'm going to keep Peck up. I don't expect to play this. It's going to need very specific development, and the tape is going to have to be pretty specific for me to go for this, because these things are incredibly risky. If you get in at the wrong time on something this illiquid, you can get crushed, right? You want to avoid getting crushed. All right, so pulled up a lot of the percent gainers. I went through them. Now I'll basically pull up anything that I haven't looked at yet on the new high scanner. MYSC is a pretty awful ticker, but it is a recent split. The trick to this one is blocking your profits, because more times than not, it's going to lose its gains. So I'll watch MYSC. It's definitely a pump ticker. Like, go pump $1 a share and then lose all those gains back. I'll watch it though. IPX extends a patent. Now this is an awful ticker. So bad. Alright, so this is a recent split. They keep doing splits, they keep doing financings, it keeps washing and rushing long-term investors. So gapped up. Well, this was a split, right? What was this? Oh yeah, that's a split. Okay, so that's a reverse split. It's washed like every day afterwards, but okay. So it has pre-market news on a reverse split wash. Could be the first green day off the split. Definitely a watch. I know it's a crap ticker, but it has the criteria I like for a pump. So nice pre-market TA as well. So I'll leave this up. PLI is kind of interesting. Have a long day too potentially. And as I find new names that I like, I'll just add them to my trade watch list. Thing about StocksToTrade is if you have too many tabs open and don't have a very powerful computer, it does have trouble running. So that's why I try to minimize the amount of tabs. Trading off a laptop, so not the most powerful device for trading, but all good. I remember, this goes way back when shippers were hot at the end of 2017. About the time when I started trading. I got to watch all the shippers, but I was so bad at trading I didn't make a thing off them. But it was entertaining for sure. Sino is so washed that I don't mind putting it on my watch list. I'm not gonna keep it on StocksToTrade, but I'll put it on my watch list. Solo is a former runner, but it's 37 mil float, so I think when it made its big run, it probably had some really good news. Get 40 mil volume on the day. But why not? Stick it on the E-Trade watch list. Alright, so now comes stage 2. What is stage 2 of creating my watch list? I scroll down and I will go through my new scanner, which here's my filters from nothing to $20 and 45 mil float. Okay, so I'll look at any news from 45 mil float and below. Just because I don't want to go through too many tickers, I want to try to be somewhat selective. Gotta actually pull up XBit real quick. Take a look at this. Wow. What happened there? Under offer to purchase up to 420 million of its shares? What? Okay, I have no idea what that news means. Well, not gonna, probably not gonna play this, but you know, stick it on the E-Trade watch list. Always good to learn from it. Alright, so now I'm gonna go through my new scanner. I'll look at the news. If it seems interesting, I'll pull up the ticker, just look at the float, I'll look at the sector, long-term chart. This is OTC. I suck at OTC. On my new scanner, I have there's this cool feature on StocksToTrade where there's keywords and you can plug in keywords to highlight. It's just useful. Just something that I want to touch on is like when I make my watch list in the morning, try not to be, stressed. Like I'm just hanging out, just very relaxed. I'm just going through the news, going through the gappers. I'm not in a rush. I'm not eager, I try to just remain zen because we're just preparing for a very long day of trading and there's no rush here, there's no rush. Just hanging out, making a watch list, getting prepared for the day. All good. Don't have to take it too serious. I do like XBIO. This thing is super washed. It's making higher lows. Nice horizontal resistance zone. I like the news. Announces publication of data for biotech. That can be a really good catalyst for a strong day. XBIO, is bad sushi though. Washed for so long, there's a lot of bag holders in this at this point, so tends to lose its gains and hasn't made a big run in a long time. Probably had financing on this gap down. But, anything can be a good opportunity under the right circumstances. So I don't mind watching XBIO. One thing I will say about StocksToTrade is I just don't have a good enough computer to run it smoothly. I love using it for the scanners throughout the day and creating a watch list, but you can just see like when I'm double clicking these tickers to pull them up, like pretty good delay on that. But at the same time, I have a lot open right now, so love StocksToTrade for the most part. So stocks like this made a run from 160 to 960. So just based on that alone, got news, had a little pop for a gap, and just based on that former run, I'm watching this. Well, I just have too much open. I think my sidebar just got frozen. I had too much open. I'm gonna have to restart my StocksToTrade. Alright, so CTRM actually went below the gap, so I'll exit it. CCCL. I'm gonna try to make some space, see if I can run this a little smoother. Really, I should just invest in a better desktop gaming computer setup, but one day. Maybe if I get to 100,000 in profits, I'll splurge on a better setup. No, it does say a lot though that I StocksToTrade, even though I have issues, I still use it because I like it that much. So that's what I will say is I do like it a lot. The heck was this? You watch shares at 180? Why? Why would you do that? The former runner. Watch it. Oh, this is interesting. Partnership. 8 mil float. Really big pre-market gap. Alright. I think the theme of today is that you can see from how I create my watch list is like I'll watch anything. I will truly watch anything. And I'm not afraid to make my watch list very big. Yeah, if there's a chance that something can be good, I'll watch it. There's actually a lot of stuff today. More than usual, I would say. On of stuff. And who knows, you know, like maybe my future self would look back at this clip of me creating a watch list and I would just shake my head like, wow, I was such a rookie back in the day, like playing all these shit tickers or putting all these shit tickers on my watch list and not being focused on the plays of the day. Because there is an argument, you know, for focusing on the main pre-market gappers that are gonna be liquid that you can size into. So maybe I am looking at too much, you know, then that's a chance, sure. Wow, this thing doesn't want to wait till open, huh? Jeez, look at that. Again, like, how do you comfortably buy this? You know how many tickers gap up and make this pattern and then just sell off? Like, so many. How am I supposed to know that this is the one? Hard. Very difficult. Keep saying I want to get up earlier. I think I should probably do that. Probably start getting up at 7 instead of 8. But again, like if I get up at 7 and it's a slow morning, there's so much sitting around that I really not in a good mindset, get really anxious. So yeah, and you know, there's pluses and minuses to getting up early. Usually I would be done with my watch list by now. Usually I get done around 9. But I am trying to discuss a little bit more about what I'm watching and why, my process behind it. It doesn't take me this long every morning. This is an example of something that I like to watch. I mean, it's clearly holding this 50-cent range, consolidating between 50 and 70. Has pre-market news, and it's a former runner. This thing was hot. It ran from 2 to 550. Yeah, just something I don't mind watching. Sets up, makes good TA after the open. Why not? You know, it's a former runner. Never know what's going to explode. I'll stick it on the watch list. An idea that I want to convey through this video is watch anything you want. You can watch it for any reason that you want. This is a watch list that is designed for you. Like, you have to design it for what you like to watch, what you like to play. You know, this is for you. So it's very beneficial to make your own watch list as opposed to just getting it from somebody. Nothing wrong with getting it from somebody. I mean, a lot of times people are all watching the same tickers in this space, and there's good reason for that. You have to go where the volume is, and I understand, but it's good to be independent and to think about these things. and watch what you truly like. Oh, that's gonna good for me. I've got enough tickers. I have more than enough. There's always more that pop up. Definitely have enough. Another cool feature of StocksToTrade is like on this reverse split watch list, you can organize it by news. So something doesn't have volume pre-market, it can be hard to see. So you organize it by news, and then you can pull up whatever you want, take a look at the news. Might want to watch it for the day. FFN I wanted to watch because it's a nice consolidation, super washed, former runner. Like things like that, I don't mind just sticking on my watch list. It's all good. Final thing that I do is percent change after open. So when the opening bell rings, you have this set, show the tickers that are highest percent after the bell. I think that's the most useful feature that I use on any watch list. It's just get to see what's moving. This is a really big watch list, right? So the fastest way to know what you should focus on is the percent change after open. It lets you see the tickers that are moving the most, and then my focus goes to those top tickers. And the rest I don't even pay attention to. So that's how I'm more selective. Anyways, I know this was an extremely long video going over my exact process, how I find the tickers I want to watch for the day, but you know, I just wanted to show the behind the scenes of how I go about it, how I think about these things. Hopefully, got some value out of it. So, luck trading today, and I'm gonna get focused and ready to go for Big Bell. Alright, so thanks for watching. See you on the next recap.